wrestling fans. Welcome to another exciting Extreme Horsemen podcast. I'm Preston Quinn. I'm joined, as always, by ECW original, the Rottweiler himself, C.W. Anderson. C.W.
What's going on?
What, it was Christmas early for us wrestlers, as it is every year, as Tracy Myers treated us from AML. He treated us all to Wrestlecade weekend, and boy, we were there. We were live and in living color. And it was
we were.
Right. So I know that you got there Friday and you got to hang out a little bit, and I will let you begin by how that was for you and how your weekend went there at the biggest independent show in all the United States of America.
We always try to get down there a little early, and I was supposed to wrestle Friday night on the Showcase of Champions. I was going to wrestle Rich Holiday. He's a champion of one promotion that I can't remember, and I don't want to call him wrong. It was like IWA or something like that, but he's also had just won the Big Time Wrestling, who you and I have worked for before, Steve Perkins Big Time, and he was going to defend that as well, but unfortunately, he got COVID, and he could not make the show, so I ended up working at wrestling that night. So anyway, I still got down there early and got to hang out and see everybody, and but our big thing is when we get down there, we go to Small Batch, which is nachos.
Yes, that is unsolicited plug. They are not a sponsor, folks. It's just because we love Small Batch nachos. I'm gonna tell you right now,
they're amazing. We wait all year to go eat those nachos because we don't wrestle at the Benton Convention Center like we used to right before the pandemic hit. So it's been a while since I've had those nachos. Anyway, had the nachos, walked over to the show, and it was already starting to buzz. Got to watch some of the show, and then I left pretty much after about the fifth match, but I did get to see my buddy JD Drake and this young guy. If you haven't watched him yet, his name is Bojack. He come from Colby Carino and Steve Carino's PWF, and Bojack is a very big, mobile, like a Bam Bam Bigelow type guy. And got to watch them, and to me right then they were the match of the night, those two. From what I saw.
So JD Drake, an old friend of ours, what JD had to say to you, C-Dub, when you talked to him?
Of course, saw him, hugged him, hadn't seen him in a while, and he kind of looked around. He said, "So Preston ain't here to carry your ass tonight." That was the first words out of his mouth.
That's right. JD Drake, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been hiding under a rock, he's been a regular with AEW Dark. JD Drake, and he's got the wingmen with him and all that stuff, man. We're real proud of where he's gone. He's really done a good job of trying to get himself in better shape. He was already just athletic as heck for a guy his size. And of course, he and I have a connection. We were very big Dallas Cowboys fans. So I don't want CW to think it was just because he really thought that he had to carry me.
Well, we were standing there talking to Bojack, and he goes, we're talking about how, I thought that you, Preston, would like his work because I do, and he is, the effort he puts into it, how smart he is to be as young as he is. I said, I think Preston would really like your work too, so we can get to watch some of it, watch some video, and, tell you what we think. And he looked at Bojack, JD Drake did right then, and said, "Yeah, don't believe a damn word that comes out of Preston's mouth."
Goodness.
So, but they went out there, had a fantastic match, and JD Drake's he is a grown man.
Yep.
Yeah, he's not your muscular type guy. He looks like
Dick
he's
Murdoch.
He's Dick Murdoch, corn-fed grown
Murdoch.
man.
Yep.
And then the rest of the night was just hanging out, ready for Saturday's. I was waiting for you to get there. Saturday, went down, had breakfast with some guys, and then went over for the signing, which started about 10 o'clock and lasted till 3. And that place, saying it's packed is an understatement, because the whole day there was just as many people inside the signing walking around as there was outside waiting to get in. It was like rotating them in and out.
Yep. Because there was two different rooms. One of them had the security with Sting and all them super big name guys, Steiner Brothers, Sting, Kurt Angle, Kane, Arn Anderson, Magnum TA, all them guys were over there under heavy security in one room. And then you had, you know, the big event room where we were, and over 100 other legends in there, and current superstars. It is just unbelievable. Even for us, you know, we get to walk in there and rub elbows with guys like Barry Windham. And
yeah, I got to see Barry again. I think it's when we get there, we get checked in, we settle in for a little bit, the crowd starts moving around, and then we go take a walk. We want to see people and say hello to them.
Yes. If anybody needed a confirmation that the Extreme Horsemen were ADD, ADHD, whichever you want to call it, watch us at an autograph signing. How often we got to keep on rolling and run back to the table, and then we go somewhere else. And
poor Brittany, we're dragging Brittany right in the middle of it all.
Yeah. So
I got to see Tammy Sitch. I got to see Francine, who I absolutely adore and love. Francine and I are really close. We saw Barry Windham again from seeing a few weeks ago. Saw Booker T, Lodi. Got to see Billy Gunn again and meet his two kids, who I've never met before. Very respectful. Let's see, who else do we see? Then the big thing was we walked over. Of course, we saw Rick and Scott Steiner and seen them 100 times, but we got to sit and talk to Arn for maybe 5 minutes, him and Brock. Yep. And you got to meet Brock for the first time.
And Brock's starting to put a little size on. He's starting to look like a smaller version of his dad.
Yeah, 100%.
That was his heyday.
Yeah,
I like it.
His dad come over and talked to us and asked me, since he knows I live kind of close, he asked me when I was going to come and get in the ring with him and roll around at the school, which I was like, as soon as I can.
Yeah. You let me know when, sir.
Yeah, you let me know when, and I'm there. But that's pretty much the main thing you do, Sarah, is walk around, see people, meet fans.
Yeah. Of course, I had to see our personal favorite, Tom Pritchard. You know, we had to go.
Oh, absolutely. We
had to go mess with Dr. Tom.
Yeah, if we had to go find Dr. Tom and talk to him.
You know, it never gets old when you have somebody like Tom and folks, just to kind of set what it was like there. There's a line of people there at each table waiting to you know, get an autograph or a picture. And Tom's sitting there, and me and CW don't really want to cut in front of people. We were trying to be respectful. We're kind of behind some fans, and he noticed us. He just cuts the fans right off, gets up from the table, and just comes around and gives us a big hug. And he was like, man, guys, I was just thinking about you. Wish I had you for my seminar yesterday. You know, I'm like, yeah. You know, it never gets old to hear it, you know?
No, not one bit. And actually, another thing, too, I got to finally meet Carl Anderson for the first time. And I've known Luke Gallows for a long time. So I got to see him, but I've never met Carl Anderson before, and got to stand and talk to him for a few minutes, which was really cool. And, you know, he has said this before online, but he confirmed it again that he was a huge fan of mine as he was watching me growing up and things like that, which meant a lot to me coming from him. But, you know, I think the world of those two guys. I could sit and talk with him for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
See Shannon Moore.
Shannon, we all go back with Shannon so far.
Yeah, even when, like, I think Shannon was like 14 or so when I first met him.
You talking about Kid Dynamo?
Yeah, Dynamo, yeah.
Yep, I remember Kid Dynamo. But yeah, I mean, of course, never to overlook we you know, Rock and Roll Express and Baby Doll and George South and Nikita, Barbarian, Sergeant Slaughter. Man, I tell you, we couldn't name everybody that was there.
Yeah, I've seen Matt Hardy again.
Yep, Matt Cardona, Nick Aldis,
Mickey James.
I
mean, we could go on people. That's
when I met her.
Lexi. That's the people we've actually walked up and said hello to and spoke to in our roundabouts that we're naming off right now, just to show you that we're big kids as well.
Yeah. But yeah, so we do the convention, and then, you know, kind of walk the people through what it's like when we're done with the convention, and we have a little bit of that lull before the Super Show, and then we have the Super Show, which we were opening the Super Show with an 8-man tag that we were involved in. Mm-hmm. So just kind of walk through from the end of the convention to that.
We left just a little bit early when it started dying down, and went back to my hotel room, which is, we stayed at Embassy Suites. You know, they got an underground tunnel that connects to it, so you don't really have to go outside. Went back to the room, grabbed our stuff, and walked back, because by the time the convention's over with at 3:00, the very first match, the dark match, the pre-show match, whatever you want to call it, is at 4:40. So by the time you walk and get back and start getting dressed, start putting things together, man, you're really scrambling to get it all together. And I've been this match a few times. And it's one of those, I think this is my third time being that match. And it is a hustle. And I usually take the control of, this is what I want to do. This is what I like. Everybody put your 2 cents in, get your crap in so everybody can shine, and let's go out there and have a great time and nobody get hurt.
Fill in the gaps.
Yep.
That's what I tell them. Make it yours, but this is what we want. Yep.
And then you hear, I think it was Brian says, dark match, what is that? On deck. And that's when the adrenaline runs and the butterflies start, and you're spraying down for the last time. And for me, I got a process that I normally do. And one of the last things I do is I kind of go off to myself, and I don't like using a water bottle sometimes, because every time I buy a water bottle, it grows legs and walks off. So I'm wasting 79 cents each time, but whatever. But I use JB Coleman. Normally I put a little water in me and Triple H myself, where I'm spraying it up in the air and it hits on me. And to me, my psychology part, that's to me that transforms me to the Rottweiler, C.W. Anderson. It gets me in that mode to ready to go out there and perform.
Now, you just reminded me of something now. There's a couple of incidents that happened while we were at the convention itself, that we just kind of we glazed over because we were marking out for the legends. But can we talk about what happens when you come up and you've run your mouth online, like William Huckabee does, and William Huckabee,
when you legitimately spit water on his face in the biggest racial incident in the history of the Wrestlecade convention. I mean,
oh God, a quarter of a water bottle all over William Huckabee's face and chest. And CW was wishing to God that he had that on video so he could put it on Facebook, because everybody thinks me and Huckabee are polar opposites that can't stand each other. But
well, you are on Facebook.
Yeah, we are. But the thing is that wrestling there, man, I'm telling you right now, you can be polar opposites in what you believe and still love that person like family. When you see them, especially, you just, because you guys have gone back so many years, man. I mean, these people so long, and they've traveled the same roads you've traveled. There's a kinship there. So when I saw Huck, he gives me a big hug, and I just happened to be sipping water, and he cracked a perfectly timed joke, and it just sprayed out of my mouth all in his face. And CW had no idea what had happened. He just saw his partner spit water in this guy's face that he is a polar opposite of online.
And Huckabee's face looked like you slapped the crap out of him, just like it was the insult.
I laughed so hard, my stomach was hurting. My hands on my knees. I couldn't. If he had hit me, I wouldn't have been able to defend myself because I was laughing so hard.
He goes, "Damn it, PQ!" What? Just wiping it off his face. And that goes. And for you, whatever you want to call yourselves that have sensitive, and you can't take it when people disagree with you. You can disagree with somebody and still like them. You're not going to like everything they do. So, take your feelings and get a little thicker skin every now and then. And that's what with you and Huckabee. Y'all can disagree online, argue online, but when you see each other, it's mutual respect.
Yep.
Because if it wasn't, when you spit all over him, it'd have been on. So.
He didn't kick my ass because I couldn't have stopped laughing.
No, and I let him because I was in just distraught because I didn't know what I'd had to get the story afterwards.
Yeah, and then the other incident. What's the other incident? What happened?
The one where I fell.
The one, yeah. Well, I told you not to run your mouth at me.
Well, I just stepped back and tripped over something, and I could not catch myself. It was one of those. I felt like I was falling off the face of the earth.
You fell. That was the longest fall I've ever seen that I could not catch you.
I was trying to catch myself. I fell in my gimmick bag on a chair to the people that were behind us that had their banner
artwork,
stuff up. I fell
precious, one of a kind artwork.
I don't know. It's just I stepped back and lost my balance and my equilibrium, whatever it was. I couldn't catch myself, and down I went.
And I got Shane Douglas right next to us, looking over there like, "What the hell?" And I just blurt out, "That'll teach you to talk to me like that." Oh my goodness, man. You cannot make this shit up.
No.
Oh, okay. So now we're getting ready. You done sprayed the water all over you. And we're getting ready to go on deck in front of thousands of screaming fans with Titantrons all over the place like we're actually somebody.
1,700 to be exact.
Huh?
1,700 fans to be exact.
And that place is sold out a week ahead of time with people waiting to get tickets. Again, another kudos to Tracy Myers and Brian Hawks, everything that they do and all the sponsors that go into it. Just amazing work put it together for guys like us that are just nobodies in the world of things. And we get to do this and make memories that we'll never, ever, ever forget. So now we're in the staging area in the total darkness. And it's the match set up as the Extreme Horsemen, JB Cole and White Mike, taking on those dreaded Dawsons and Mick Drake and
Brad Attitude.
Brad Attitude. Yep. Two guys I really like, Brad and Mick, man. I really do. But we're getting ready. They're out there first. They're the heels. They're out first. And then our music hits. Walk them through it, C-Dub.
We have kind of a long entrance. It's an entrance that for anybody that doesn't know, I got it off the movie A Knight's Tale, which I love because I was always a fan of the Japanese entrances like Shinjiro Otani's and Hashimoto's, which is about 30 seconds long. It's a big buildup to where our music hits, and then we walk out under our name, and that's when the adrenaline rush gets even hotter because the fans see you for the first time. And we're the first ones to have match, so the crowd is hot, very hot. I mean, they will pop off of anything, and we're the first ones to get to showcase it for them.
Yeah. And you walk out there and you don't know until you've done it who you are in wrestling as far as how you would handle seeing that. And for me, that was that coming out from under there, you look down and it is a long walkway to the ring. The ring is a long ways away, and it's nothing but a sea of people leaning over the rails
to touch you,
their hands out, right? And you don't know what type of wrestler you're really going to be until you are part of that. And if it's adrenaline that hits you or if it's nerves that hit you, separate the men from the boys. And I walked out there and I saw those people, and it was like, let's go, baby. It just felt great. Like the big stage, it's time to be the man. Some people on the big stage, pressure burst pipes. So we got to go out there and we got to kick off the biggest indie show in the country.
Yep.
In style and fashion. What'd you think about the match?
I liked the match. I loved watching What's the Camera. I loved the fact that somewhere in the match, Mick Drake slapped the absolute dog crap out of JB Cole, which just, it was one of those that was out of nowhere. It popped up, just a look on JB's face. Blacked his eye, busted his mouth. Just a look on JB's face after he got slapped. It was a story that Richard Pryor used to tell when he fought Muhammad Ali in the exhibition. So he said Muhammad Ali was so fast that his punches were already coming back before he ever knew he was getting hit. He was like, I noticed some stuff in my face just a minute ago after he got hit like 6 or 7 times. That's JB's look after Mick Drake slapped him.
And let me tell you, folks, what happens sometime with these young fellas. JB, under the big bright lights, he froze. And he didn't have to freeze long. Because Mick Drake, who is a man ahead of his time, I'm going to tell you right now, Mick Drake is on his way. Mick Drake slapped this man on the side of his head.
And unthawed him.
Oh, my goodness. And, you know, for an instant, me and CW, because we assholes. And we almost forgot that man was our teammate. We're over there laughing. Like, God, we're as bad as high schoolers. And then you realize that's your teammate, and you got to go like, oh, no. I said, good God, smoked. Poor JB. And disclaimer, JB is one of the nicest kids in the world.
But yeah. He's really, he doesn't want to screw up. He doesn't want to disappoint anybody. I think with that, he puts his feelings out there a little too much in that when it comes to that, instead of being JB in the ring. He's so afraid that people backstage are going to judge him instead of not giving a damn and just going out there and doing him.
Yeah.
And
he'll be fine.
It will. You got to get on those stages. The first few times, one of my very first ECW matches, I kind of screwed up a couple spots with Jerry Lynn when I got a test on the big stage, but redeemed myself the very next time. So, we all have those matches that we freeze up, something doesn't go right, and you think it's the end of the world. But it's just going to happen to everybody. But, you and I've been out on the Wrestlecade shows every year in front of the crowd, singles matches, tags, 8-mans. So it was another day at the park, but I still take it seriously when I get out there, as do you. But I enjoy the match to open the show, and then I kind of had to hustle backstage what I thought was going to be soon to get ready, but got ready too swift for the next part I had to come out to.
Yep. And now we're going to walk into that. Your biggest moment of the night, the part of this that went viral, and you paying homage to a longtime personal friend of yours that passed, Mr. New Jack. So you became what Blue Meanie has referred to as Cracker Jack.
Cracker Jack. Meanie texted me and said, if you didn't call yourself Cracker Jack, I'd have been highly disappointed.
Yeah. So if you ever have to do it again, when you come out, it's Cracker Jack.
Cracker Jack. Yep.
Yes.
Not cracker. You ain't. Well, you're white. You're allowed to say the ER. I got to say it.
Well, you can say crackers, saltine. You can get away with all that. You can say all that stuff. Cracker
Jack. I found out about a month or so ago that they were going to do this tribute to Jack, and we wanted to do a little something. And Brian asked me if I wanted to do it. Well, of course. And I've said it 100 times, but I'll say it again to leave it up to me and New Jack were tight. Yep. We spoke a lot, and I knew we were tight, but I didn't know how much he thought about me until after he passed away, and his wife, Jen, sent me pictures of me and him that he kept on his phone, and how he always talked about me, and his nickname was Big Head.
Well, where did he get that from?
I have no idea. I ain't got a clue. I don't just So I wanted to honor him in the best way possible, because they wanted me to come out to his music and just basically do New Jack stuff, hit people with things, this, that, and other. So I bought some purple camo pants. I already had the New Jack shirt from collar and elbow. I had the boots already. I got a purple camo bandana. I taped my wrist up all the way like Jack with electrical tape. I had the sleeve. And then I went and found some weapons. And the one thing I wanted to find more than anything was the old electric football games that you and I played when we were kids, as little motorized, that little football players moved around. Because if you've seen my Instagram, seen my TikTok, the very first thing Jack hit me with was an electric football game that they play a lot, because it melted over my head. So I actually, that Friday night, while I'm standing there watching the showcase show, Dre, who is one of the students at AML, we actually found it on Facebook Marketplace right down the road for $10. So we went and got that, and that was the main thing. I had a crutch. I had brought a staple gun from home that I put rope around that the AML ring crew guys had found, because Jack always wore a staple gun around his neck, and got with the several guys that said they would take the shots from me, which was followed by Zuka King.
Shots. Hold on, the shots. Let's be honest with you. Those are shots hitting them with weapons. We're not talking about no vax or nothing on here.
No, we ain't talking. We'll never talk about that on this show. But it was hitting with the weapons. It was the electric football game. White Mike, Blanco Loco, and so it said Zuka and Cyrus.
Yep.
So they all decided they wanted to take them. And, I'm forever in those guys' debt for being willing to do that. And all the other guys were going to clear for me. So they go out, they start, then they play Sandman's music and Hornswoggle or Squoggle. Just he comes out and does a little Sandman thing. And all of a sudden, Jack's music hit, which, is a Natural Born Thrillers. and the gunshot goes off. And I don't think I've ever been as nervous as I was when that gunshot goes. I'm sitting there and I'm literally shaking, and it starts hitting, and I look up, and I go, "You got me right, big bro," and
he
kind of tear.
Sent you charisma.
Yeah, Brian Hall says I don't, but I know I do. And as soon as I walked out, yeah, the thing, as soon as I walked out, there was a calming. I felt at home. I felt calm.
Yep.
You know, got to the ring, got in. Followball took his shot with the electric football game, tossed that out. Cyrus took his crutch. Then Zuka come up and started dancing, and I got the staple gun with him, but I made sure that I didn't pull a New Jack and actually have one staple accidentally left in. I did it about 30 times to make sure that staple wasn't in there. Hit Suzuka with a staple gun, hit White Mike with the kendo stick, and then Blanco took the slam and put the chair between the legs and then the golf club on the chair.
Yeah.
Turned towards the hard cam and did the New Jack symbol and the kiss to the sky to tell him I love him.
Yep. To a chorus of New Jack chants from the crowd. I don't know how well that'll come off on camera, because for some reason, like when we see these videos, the crowd is like, the sound of the crowd is very turned down, I guess for the sound of the commentary or whatever, but it just seems, it's like it's so much louder when you're there.
Yeah, and the other thing also with that is D'Lo Brown was one of the commentators, and if you know the history, D'Lo was originally one of the part of the gangsters back in, I want to say it was Smoky Mountain, way back when.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm listening to the New Jack chants. I walk to the back, and John Schuyler is the first one to grab me. And he grabs me, and, he says, "Dude, that was awesome." And I like collapse on him and start crying.
Yep.
It's just like all my emotions, everything's been built up. And then Brian Hawks comes up the same thing. And Brian, when he said that was great, as he's saying that was right, he's crying too, because Jack loved Brian as well. Yeah. And Brian loved Jack.
Yep.
Because he used to come and hang out with us. That was concerned. At the end of the night, everybody said the same thing. It was awesome. It was an awesome tribute. Jack would have been proud.
Yeah.
Tommy Thomas, who's a buddy of ours, sent video to Jack's wife, and she messaged me, and she was, crying, and she said, "I couldn't think of anybody better that could have done him justice." And when I went outside that night, because me and you and D'Lo and Brittany and John Schuyler went and had dinner together, and D'Lo grabbed me and hugged me, and he said, "Nobody could have pulled that off any better than you." He said it was perfect.
Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, those were just what we did at Wrestlecade. Man, let me tell you what. George South against Heath Slater. What do they just call him? Heath?
Heath, yeah.
Matt Cardona against Jay Lethal.
Matt Hardy versus Enzo.
Matt Hardy and Enzo. Aleister Black, whatever they call him now. Aleister Black against
Buddy Matthews.
Yeah, going it. You said that.
What was he at WWE?
I was in it calling that whatever he was. Buddy Murphy.
Buddy Murphy. That's it. I knew it.
Buddy Murphy. He's Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy and Aleister Black in the main, and just a litany of other matches. And folks, if you're watching this, you can still go to titlematchwrestling.com and go watch Wrestlecade. You will see the things that we're talking about, and you'll see you'll be able to experience Crack-a-Jack and all the matches that we've talked about, and then some, because they got the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday shows. And we will next week talk about what we did on that Sunday, because we had our big world tag team title match with the dreaded Dawson brothers that we have to talk about. Interesting ramifications and a very interesting finish to Wrestlecade that will have huge ramifications for AML January the 30th.
Yep.
But CW, I appreciate it. Thank you for taking me down that quick trip and everybody down memory lane, and what the experience is like when you are at the biggest independent wrestling show of the year.
Yes.
That's it, folks. We'll see you next week. Thank you very much.